Welcome to Boston Real Estate Times. Our guest today is Bob Richards. He is an Executive Managing Director at JLL. He specializes in life sciences and medical facilities. Bob, welcome to our studio.
Thank you, Upendra. Nice to be here.
Long time we're meeting after 25 years.
Yes, absolutely.
From those BBD days.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yes. You've done great things for the real estate community.
Thank you so much. So let us start with first with a medical office market in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that there is a lot of demand for quality buildings and upgraded buildings. And still developers are hesitant to break the ground. So what is stopping them?
Well, I mean, it's just what we're facing in terms of headwinds with interest rates, being able to raise capital, being able to get construction loans. I think those are some of the bigger challenges. And also, when you think about healthcare providers and the amount of stress and pressure they're under in terms of getting the most efficient, the most effective healthcare for patients, there's not a lot of extra money right now to upgrade facilities.
So medical providers, they do need the modern buildings.
Mm-hmm.
With the technology has changed, everything has changed.
Absolutely.
And so the only obstacle you think is the interest rates?
Well, I mean, I think that will help.
What about construction costs?
Construction costs, I know in talking with the Boston Development Group team, we are seeing contractors get more aggressive and contractors getting more aggressive on pricing. But that seems to be the last piece of the puzzle that hasn't been felt. Landlords are feeling it. Tenants are feeling it. Architects are feeling it. Engineers. But the construction folks, especially, in union locations, are kind of holding tight to the way the world used to be. And that's not the way the world is today. And you think about just the amount of upheaval there is in healthcare in Greater Boston right now with what's going on with Stewart.
Yeah.
Right. With the challenges, of Mass General Brigham, with the new potential collaboration between Beth Israel and Dana-Farber. There's a lot going on in the business, and it's just a very challenging economic environment.
So before we come to Stewart, I have a quick question about you mentioned about the Boston Development Group project in Needham.
Yep.
Can you tell us briefly about that project as well?
Sure. Yeah. This is a brand new purpose-built 50,000 square foot medical office building that is, available for full tenancy or subdivided. Great parking there, 5 per thousand underground parking, and a outstanding best-in-class location. So we're going to be really excited to bring that project onto the market. We think it's going to be very well received.
Excellent. And what is going to happen to the Stewart hospital buildings?
Well, I mean, right now it's kind of playing out real time. I think they are certainly serving a population that needs, a lot of support and help. And I just hope that the solutions are there to bring in a very competitive environment, world-class healthcare, because when you live in Greater Boston, that should be the expectation.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. On world-class, let us switch to the life sciences market here,
yes,
which you're one of the expertise.
Yes.
Boston has really turned out to be the center of life sciences in the whole world.
Yes.
With all the top-notch companies, innovation and everything.
Yes.
Market has slowed down a little bit, but how do you look at the Boston life sciences real estate market over the next 4, 5, 10 years?
Yeah, I think the next couple of years, are going to continue to be choppy. But when you think about companies in Greater Boston are currently responsible for 15% of the drug pipeline in the world, think how impressive that is,
sure,
right? So Boston is not just the center of the life science market, it's the epicenter of the life science market. And we've seen huge investments by big pharma groups like Takeda, Bristol Myers, Squibb, Sanofi, that have found a great home here because of the workforce that we have that are coming out of MIT and Harvard. And that's a hard thing to replicate. So I hope we can continue to be competitive in terms of, facilities, cost of living for companies to grow here. But I'm quite optimistic about what the next 5 to 10 years look like for Greater Boston.
So those of the viewers who may not be familiar with life sciences market in the historic context, and you have been in the market for a longer time.
Long time.
So what was the size of life sciences market, say in 90s or mid-90s? How big it is today? And just talk about some numbers.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, I mean, we started with...
My intention is not to show your age, but just...
Yeah. Well, back when we people commuted in horses, it was a smaller market. But, as we got to the automobile, things changed. And, we started... I remember when I started in the business in the late 80s, and there was one life science company in all of Greater Boston, Biogen, and they were in deep financial straits. And Jim Vincent came in and turned them around. Then Henry Tremere with Genzyme really helped create Kendall Square into what it is. And I know we'll be talking about Joe McGuire, who spent a lot of years at MIT and at Alexandria as part of that journey. So we grew from a 5 million square foot market up to, it kind of stayed at 11 to 12 million square feet for a period of time. And now we were just talking earlier about how the market is now a 50 million square foot market. So that's bigger than, like metropolitan Detroit's office market. So it's a big thing, which is why as these shifts happen, it's like turning an aircraft carrier. It doesn't happen quite as quickly as it did when we were a speedboat and able to make quick turns.
And talk also a little bit about the rent and the vacancy in the life sciences market.
Yes, so we have just released our stats from the first 6 months of the year, and we actually saw the largest rent reduction since the correction in this last last 2 quarters. So we're still seeing a lack of demand, impacting what landlords are able to do. So I would say 3 years ago, if you needed 20 or 25,000 square feet, you maybe had 2 options. Today, you probably have 25 options.
Really?
You've got 3 million square feet of sublease space. You've got 96 spec suites in which landlords have converted brand new purpose-built shell space into a lab that a company can walk into.
And what are the asking rents right now? What is the range?
The range right now actually was sort of interesting. Of the venture capital that was raised so far this year, 65% of that has been outside of Cambridge, in companies outside of Cambridge. So you're seeing rents range from, I'd say, the 60s and 70s in the suburbs, then ramping up into urban, into the mid to upper 80s. And the top of the market in Kendall Square and the Longwood Medical area is in the 105 to 120 range.
And what about the vacancy rate? Like if compared with, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah. Well, I mean, prior to 3 years ago, the vacancy rate was, always below 5% and usually, 2 to 3%. It's now up to 27%, and we think that could increase to 30% by the end of the year.
Now, last question for you is, what about the clusters which we are developing around Cambridge?
Great question.
As Joe McGuire said that, they are the tentacles of Kendall Square.
Yep.
So how do you look at the clusters, life sciences clusters in Greater Boston?
Well, I mean, Watertown, we're not too far away, has become a bona fide life science cluster. Boston Development Group's actually, with the Davis companies, have developed a building at 66 Galen Street. So I would say Watertown has established itself as a bona fide lab submarket. There's others that are trying to emerge, as Somerville, which is trying, but is not yet there. We've got the Seaport, of course, the Longwood Medical area, which is very land constrained. And then as you head out, more here to the suburbs, kind of Waltham to Burlington is also has, significant lab activity.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
time.
Upendra. All right.
Excellent. Great.
Bye-bye.